Alright, I'm Christian, and this is gonna be a casual playthrough, not a speedrun. Usually I do a speedrun here, but I'm gonna do a casual playthrough of this game. This is Final Fantasy Adventure, also known as Mystic Quest in Europe. And we're playing. Usually I speedrun this game, but I kind of wanted to also do like a casual playthrough of this as well. So why not just record it? Lucky Striker says, "Yeah, I feel like you could get away with speedrunning this game being RPG since it's an action RPG, and you can dodge every attack." Yeah. I mean, it lends itself well for speedrunning for these purposes. The only problem is like, I mean, you can. Like people do like what do you call it? Tool assistant runs of this, and they are insane because they can just avoid all of the attacks and stuff like that. It's not something that you can do, you know, as a human being. What is the name? Was it Judo? What is the name of the original character? Sumo. I think it's Sumo, right? It's Sumo. Judo is the main protagonist of the Gundam Double Z. I need to make sure that I'm playing on my actual screen and not on the subject stream. There's a bit of a delay happening there. The name of the girl is Fuji. And I thought today we're gonna just play through to where I usually would start the speedrun stuff, the glitch stuff. And then maybe on some other day we're gonna continue playing. Now, fight! Ah, man! The timing on how you have to follow the jackal is something I still have to figure out. But I'm getting better at the jackal fight. It feels good. Sumo was a fighter of Empire Glaive. So Empire Glaive is actually something that also comes up in Secret of Mana. Sumo and friends were forced to fight every day, just for the entertainment of Dark Lord. I think there's different versions of this game, like remakes, where this part is a bit explained a bit more. Like Sumo was actually a rebel against Empire Glaive and was actually captured like a spy or something. It was captured during one of his missions and then thrown into the dungeon here. And then he has to fight, and so this is like his big breakout. And then there's this friend Willy who says he should see Bogart at the Falls. I have to say, something that's really amazing about this game is it is quite mature. I mean mature in the sense that these are just very mature topics. It starts, oh man, we got to the, how do we do this again? It starts with very heavy stuff, you know, just your friend dies in your arms. That's the first thing that does. And this entire sequence, like this intro, like explaining what's happening, there's some text, but not too much, and it's mostly interactive. I think this is really good. And by the way, this is Amanda. I'm sorry about Willy, we have to get out of here. Yeah, I want to go home and see my little brother. That's a bit of a foreshadowing, really nice foreshadowing, because Amanda will play a role later in the game. The entrance for the monsters leads to outside. Take your chance. And this, by the way, this character sprite of that guy or girl, I don't know, of this gladiator here, that's also a really good sprite, I think, because you can tell that it's a muscular person, and you can tell that they have like this sleeveless shirt, you know, like the I don't know, wife beater is the name. That's not a good term, right? Like like a very sporty shirt on, with very exposed, you know, shoulders. And like a armband, armband. Do you say armband? In Germany, you say armband. It's a really beautiful sprite, and it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting that you do the fight twice against Jackal. That you start in the boss fight, and that boss fight. By the way, there's also a pattern that you see quite often in the game. Like when you look at the boss fights. Quite often you see a boss that does this kind of movement, where you have like 3 slots and it moves into between 3 spaces. And it's kind of smart to start with a boss fight. It's impressive. It's like this that's this big, like, whoa, we're gonna show you, you know, crazy thing. But it's actually not like very easy. You don't have to, like, there's no danger. Any danger that happens is something that you put on yourself, and you're not getting that much damage from getting hit by him. So I think it's a really cool start. Also, like, by the way, very efficient sprite again. Like, it's just like one big sprite and you just flip it back and forth. It's a beautiful sprite too. This huge tiger guy. It's weird that it's called Jackal. Should be Sabertooth, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, also that's also another thing, that it's kind of unusual that this game was translated, because it was, I think, especially for, I know the story for Germany was weird because it was supposed to, like, it was, they didn't mean to bring it to Europe, but apparently some translators who were like hooked into like the new releases in Japan, they were like, they asked not the translators, actually the people doing the hotline stuff, the people who were on the hotlines giving the tips, the Nintendo tips, you know, the Nintendo tip hotline. Those people were pretty hooked into the Japanese releases, and so they were kind of like, they knew what the cool kids were playing. And some of the executives kind of like did like a survey, or like asked the people working at the hotlines, you know, what are some games that you saw that you're aware of that we should import to Europe? And apparently one person was like very trying to put this game, especially because it was so mature, it was so unlike what Nintendo brings to the West, which is, you know, just bubbly, very family friendly stuff. And so the one person really championed this game, and that's why apparently they brought it over, and that's why it's called Mystic Quest in Europe, because it's kind of like a different process that brought it over. And that person also did the translation. And there's a really great interview with him where he says, like, he tried to, he had like tight constraints because there's just not a lot of text on the screen here. Like, it's just like, not even a tweet, you know. But still, you want to like convey a certain tone, like this mature tone. And I think, like, I don't know if it comes out in English, but in German translation, it's really, it was unlike anything that you saw before. Yes, sir, the trees. So this is also interesting. You immediately, like, the one is called Dark Lord. It's clear that he's like the Darth Vader of this story, but he's like the main guy, because Darth Vader is like in the Star Wars, Darth Vader is like the henchman, and here is kind of like twisted around. We have like this hooded character who is like the Darth Vader kind of guy, but he's the main guy, and then he has a henchman, and we know that at the end of the story, the henchman actually becomes the main guy, the main bad guy. But there's an amazing complexity to this stupid little Game Boy game. Like, this is a really nice plot twist that catches you by surprise. It's always like Darklord in the first half of the game, and then once you fight Darklord and defeat him, it's like, wait, that was it? And then suddenly it's like, no, there's just so much more game. Also, I believe at some point you return to this specific screen, which is like this very beautiful scene. And when you do, it's also like this kind of like, oh, the world feels so complete because you can travel to all of those locations. And we have like the same thing that we have in Secret of Mana, where it begins with the character falling from a waterfall, kind of like he doesn't really have amnesia, but it creates like this separation, this physical separation between where he was before and then where he is now. It feels kind of like he's stranded. Although in Secret of Mana, that doesn't really happen. Like, he just like separates from his friends, but I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna save down there, and that's gonna be my save for this casual playthrough. It's kind of weird because we are, and in many ways, it's kind of like the same thing, right? We're still trying to do things. There's just no the same things, but there's just no time pressure. So this is interesting, by the way. Also, I really love. The one thing I don't like about Secret of Mana is it has like a different philosophy in the way it portrays the world. In Secret of Mana, you have like these segments, these levels, right? You have like a whole level that just scrolls smoothly, and then once you get to an exit, it fades to black and then fades in a new level, right? So you have like these huge chunks. And the world's constructed out of these levels, and there's like gaps between, right? You can just like if you drew a map of all of the levels together, there would be like huge black spots between the paths that you're taking. And this game has like these screens, like in Zelda, where each screen is next to another screen, this labyrinth of screens. And I think this is better, even though it's technically the other one is more impressive. But I think the screens, they create like this like beautiful playing field. Like there's like this, each one of them is like this little vignette, right? And you know the screen is static, and the entire playground is just a screen, right? And also like from each screen, there's more navigation involved. It feels like this entire world is not just like a level that you go through, and then at the end there's going to be the final boss. But instead it feels like you're in this open world. Because at each screen you can go in all directions. I can go out left, I can go down, I can go up. And then across the river there's some more stuff that I cannot reach right now. Like there's like this... And I know that eventually I will get there, and then I will be looking back and thinking back, oh, I was there before, It's... The world feels so alive and open. And you don't really get that feeling from... I don't get this feeling from Secret of Mana. Because it's like all these levels, the levels scene, the world scene is more like made for me to go through it and through this one path. There's less more thinking about where to go next and so forth. And yeah, I don't know. You get that for free. You get that sense of openness for free once you divide your game into these segments. So I still want to grind until 140 health GP. I could reload here. Maybe I should do it. I should just reload. No. Gotta reload here. There's also a remake of this game on the Game Boy Advance called Sword of Mana. And that sucks. I'm just gonna say, like, it just straight sucks. I mean, a lot of people love it, and that's fine. There's good things about it. That's really amazing high-end pixel art for the Game Boy Advance. But it has that Secret of Mana way of dividing the world where it consists out of individual levels, and it's like thematically just a little bit off. It's just like doesn't quite convey the vibes of the original. And it's less interesting because of how the abilities are portrayed. There's like they're doing some really good gating here of the game. We're gonna show that in a second. And so you have to unlock certain abilities to get to certain parts of the game. And in the remake, in the Sword of Mana, they do it in the dumbest way possible. They remove all of the complexity that was there before, and instead they focus on these like magic, like basically the yellow key to open a yellow door kind of situation, and that just robs the game out of so much soul. Hello, young man. Welcome to Topple. So here's a screen that I never enter in a speedrun. Tree of Mana is watching us from above the clouds. It's protecting us from evil things. I wonder, does he have two things to say? Some RPGs have like two things. So there's like always there's a reason to kind of like really talk to people a lot, but not in this game, which makes sense. I mean, it's a very early Game Boy game. Also never going to the inn on the speedruns. Oh, just like also, by the way, it's so funny when you play Secret of Mana and all of the shopkeepers also do like the little weird dance. It's so funny because here it looks so super glitchy. It feels like what's happening there. It's like it feels like unintentional, but then you play Secret of Mana. It's like totally intentional, totally meant for them to be doing like these goofy dances. It's so funny. The old man by the waterfalls is such a weirdo. He used to be a gallant knight, but not anymore. So to give us a little bit of a hint that where we are supposed to go. Darklow is looking for a girl. Do you know a girl with the secret of the Tree of Mana? Oh yeah, so we know that there's a girl involved. It's a bit of a foreshadowing. This is just like, just some basic stuff. Yeah, I mean, it gives them a lot of character, but it's like every single shopkeeper does this stupid dance. I also could buy the broad. No, I already have the broadsword. I don't need to buy the broadsword. Okay, let's do this thing. I'm not beneath me of doing the exploit here in a casual speedrun. It's not beneath me, I mean. Ah! Jesus. Yeah. So, Lucky Striker. Here's my thinking, because I'm also thinking about this, playing through this. Something to consider is that the tiles that we're seeing, there are 16 times 16 tiles, right? So you don't, like, if you're saving screens, you don't have to save the entire screen. You just have to always save every second tile, right? So you can do some compression using that already, because the tiles consist out of each square here consists out of 4 tiles. So you just have to save 1 tile out of those 4 tiles, right? So you can just compress the size by a factor of 4. Sadly, this is a really big world. I checked this, I think it's like 16 times 16 screens. I'm not sure. Or was it even more? Or was it 64? And of course, then you get the dungeons as well, which is just like, oof. Map. How big is that? It was surprisingly big. Oh man, I need something with subdivisions. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 16. 16 times 16 screens. This is the entire overworld. That's just the overworld. Not including any towns and not including any dungeons. So that's big, but you could fit that into the expanded memory space, right? You would definitely need to compress. But it gives you like a ballpark, right? Like something along those lines, right? That's kind of nice. Because this feels like a very complete adventure to me. Like this is like a huge story. I think compressing the text is also a bit problematic. There's just a lot of text in this game. Like even if you're being like so terse. Wait, did I not equip? I did not equip the thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you would have to do. A lot. Oh, what the? Okay, there we go. Okay, let's get a key. Let's get 2 keys actually. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't think in the menu is that the menu is just basically non-existent in this game. So I don't think you would need that menu thing in this game. Because there's just not so much you do outside of the game, you just play the game, right? So I don't know if the menu card is really needed. I mean, the good thing is that if push comes to shove, you just do like a map card, right? And then that solves your problem. Also, one thing to note is the dungeons. The levels, like the screens in the dungeons are really repetitive. So I think that would lend itself really well to compression as well. I mean, also on the other hand, that's not great. Like, that's actually not that good about the dungeons. We're gonna talk about it when we go to the dungeon. Alright, so here's Fuji, and she was with Hasim. We already talked about it a little bit. She's with Hasim here, and Hasim is not... He fought against the mushrooms, but the mushrooms got him. Oh, by the way, that's also something interesting, that in Secret of Mana, those mushroom enemies are actually way more dangerous. Because they can do like this kind of mushroom dust poison effect, and you can fall asleep. Oh, that's, by the way, that's so nice that you can go down here and you can see like the marsh area later on. You can get a bit of a preview of what's happening. That's so nice that they do like these lookouts. So you know, like, oh, there's some interesting stuff there, like different tiles and new stuff, but you can't get there yet. And here as well, like, oh, you see that on the other side there's like this path, but you cannot get there. And, oh man, this feels so nice. I can go to all those places that you usually never go to. Whatever. Yeah, that's nice. Maybe we should always take this path. Maybe that's better. Because I always take this path. But it might be actually good to go there always, huh? Maybe I should try this next time around. Oh, true. I think doing reduced color palette, swapping colors to signify different things, like stone and ground, reusing the same textures like the clouds in the original Mario Worlds. Yeah, maybe that might be a good idea. I mean, if you're gonna use colors, is that possible? Hey, History Maker. Yeah, Mystic Quest. That's right. Oh, Mini Mini. Yeah. That's Game Boy games are really great on Mini Mini. So. Yeah, I'm not doing the speedrun, by the way. I'm just doing a casual playthrough. I did the speedrun for today already. So this is Bogart. It's kind of funny that you have to talk to Bogart multiple times. I don't like this kind of design usually, because it's so easy for people to get stuck. Like if you walk up to him and talk to him once and he doesn't give you an answer, it's like, wait, am I at the wrong spot? And you might walk away. And that would get you maybe stuck. I don't like that. And here's like a real big story drop here. With the information that you got on Topple, you kind of get an idea that you know, this girl that you accidentally stumbled across is actually very important. And we already heard from Julius in Dark Lord that there's a girl that holds the key, so it's like, oh, okay. It's kind of like sets you up. You accidentally stumble into being like this. You can buy the Matrox at the item shops also. Go to the cave on the east side of the mountains. It's good that he repeats where you have to go. Yeah, it's really good. Really good design that characters can repeat the things that you're supposed to do. And it's also nice. Isn't that nice that you talk to Bogart next to the waterfall? That's so nice, I think. That's such a nice design as well, because it feels like the entire world feels like it's knotted together. You just fell down the waterfall. That was like a very memorable event, right? And now you return to the waterfall, but the story is pushed further along. It's kind of nice that you get to see where you were just now. It feels like backtracking is such a great way to make a world feel more open and more, ironically, more open and more like it exists independently of you. The world is there, the waterfall is always there, and you're just having like all sorts of adventures around the waterfall, you know? Yeah, the expectation of NPCs only having one line makes it tougher to think a player would. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's weird that you suddenly break the rule, right? And so here we're getting to the... Right now, this entire area was freely accessible all this time. And now we're getting to the place where there's like the first gate. Like there's like you have this open world, but you have like these doors that close off sections of the open world. So it's like you can go anywhere where you want, but there's just gonna be certain things that you cannot cross. So you can't accidentally get to the end of the game, or at least you cannot even get to like a place where you're not supposed to be, where the enemies are too strong. And so here's this one first moment where you have like this item called Mattock, and that's a item that you use up, and you can destroy that. It can be used for actually a lot of things. You can destroy the rocks and pots, but you can also sometimes create opening secret passages through some levels. And by the way, we were talking about dungeons, right? So this is a dungeon, basically. It's a little mini dungeon. And you can, like, it's always like the border is always filled in. There's always like this perfect square borders. And the exit out of each room are always in the center. And sometimes it's blocked off. And there's always some kind of stuff in the middle. But usually not too crazy, the stuff. It's always just like some tiles from like a very limited tile set. It's kind of like unusual that they have like this. This is like really outrageous. Like you have like this underground river there. That's actually unusual, and it reuses sprites from the overworld's map. So it's definitely efficient and so forth. But it's just kind of like unusual to have this kind of structure in a dungeon. Right, so now we were somewhere we already saw, and again, that's really great. Just like good level design, because you see something, but you cannot get there, and then you get there, and then you look back, and you're like, oh, now I'm at this place where I thought I would get, but I didn't know how to get there, but now I found out how to get there. You know, you feel like this progress, and you feel like also like the world is just like has like these hidden passages you can find out as well. By the way, same goes for this area above us right now. You get to that area, but very late in the game, and so it's like this little tease of what's coming up, because there's like this crazy tree there as well. Like, ooh, what's happening there, right? You get there, but it's going to take a while until you get there. It's kind of fun. All right, so this is the first like shop, and it's funny because we're about to enter like a very different area, the swamp area. But before you get there, you get to the shop. And there's like this, just to make sure that you understand what's happening, he sells you this battle axe for 150 GP. But we don't have the money right now. We have to grind a little bit. So because we could have put the, and it's swampy head. Be careful, you know. Like it's really, it's good onboarding here. It's kind of like really make sure that you don't miss important stuff. Later on, they will no longer handhold you that much, but this time around, it's still. I like that. It's nice. Yeah, let's kill some enemies to get the 150 GP, so we can get the thing. Oh man, really just one mushroom? Seriously? Come on, man. Come on. Come on, goblin guy. Oh, don't kill the mushroom! Oh, I killed the mushroom. Okay, we have to kill the guys in the swamp. So it's kind of nice that you cross the bridge. So it's like this, oh, we're getting a new area now, right? And it's swamp, different enemies, different tile set. I think it's a little bit darker. No music change though, so that's okay. Right, so let's get to this guy, let's get the axe. Usually I don't do that in this playthrough. There's certain path that we discovered recently where the axe actually plays an important role. And yeah, you can buy some cure potions from here as well. You can also buy a mad hook, but I'm not gonna. It's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna need a mad hook. It's safe. Let's ask. Right, so this feels like this checkpoint, this big checkpoint, because you get to this shop here, and then suddenly the area is very different ahead. But you get a new axe, very different mechanics. All of the weapons in this game have different mechanics. Broadly speaking, the axe, the sword has like a stab. The axe doesn't have the stab. Also, the special attack of the axe looks different, and also the axe has some other abilities that help with traversal later on. And also the enemies that you fight here are a bit tougher. Not necessarily, they're not too tough, but they sometimes poison you. So they introduce like this idea that this is you know, a swamp, and there's like, I don't know, sickness, I guess. This part here. This is the most genius encounter in this game, I think. I mean, we gloss over it in the speedrun, but I think it's really great, and it's really... You notice how genius this is if you see this compared to the remake on the Game Boy Advance, on a Sword of Mana remake. Because in a Sword of Mana remake, when you get to the screen, it's like, you know, it's like a Halloween castle. It's like a moon and wolf is howling, so like... And the gate is like crazy and curly, you know, like it's what's his name? What's his face? The Nightmare Before Christmas kind of like stuff, you know. It's like, everything looks very like spooky. Woo! Like bats are flying and so forth. So like when you see that kind of styling, you expect like, okay, we're about to encounter some kind of spooky monsters, whatever. But it's really fun that in this game it's just a house, and you're like, oh, welcome to Cats. Rooms ahead are occupied. Please feel free to use the western room. This door. Don't worry about this door, you know. So okay. Oh, somebody's sleeping here. The mystic mirror reveals people's true colors. Okay. I heard that the man here threw it away in a cave. Okay. Lizard man's nest is to the south. They have the key to open the cave to the marsh. Mad information drop, but also they're not giving us any kind of negative vibes. It's just like an inn with maybe some... Although the music is a bit creepy, but okay. Yeah, this is so good. This part is so good. So you get like this night scene, which is really fun. You kind of like get a bit of a character development between the two. I mean, there's not too much writing here, but you know, she gives you something, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Thank you so much. She cares about me, I guess, right? And you can tell that the protagonist also cares about her because he wakes up and then he misses her. You know, these are just very basic emotions that they're conveying here, but it's fun. It's a nice little basic interaction here, and it's a bit of a surprise that this happens because you think, oh, I'm just gonna sleep at this inn, right? But suddenly, like this twist. Oh, what? The companion is gone. She's gone. We just learned that she's the very important person, and now she's gone. And so it's like, whoa, geez, no. And it's really genius because you don't see it coming. You don't see the spooky. Like if you go to a spooky castle and sleep at a spooky castle, and then suddenly the girl is kidnapped, you're like, oh, okay, sure, some monsters got her. But if you go to just like a random building and you sleep at the inn there, and then suddenly the girl disappears, you're like, whoa, and you don't see that coming, you feel guilty. It's like, oh man, I made a mistake. No, I shouldn't have slept here, you know. Maybe there's some other way. Like there was no reason for me to go here. It's like, it feels more emotionally relevant if you don't see it coming. So this guy says the same thing, but he gets another line. You can't after the your friend? No, I don't know. So it's like, uh-oh, we need to find where the girl is. But now we know that you get some hint that there's some kind of mirror that we might need to find out, and there's some lizard man situation that we need to investigate. Now, to be honest, this is a bit of a stretch. like, I think it would be nice if we could ask more people where the girl went, because it's like you feel a little bit like, okay, I'm just like doing whatever the game allows me to do, which is we're gonna get some random key, and we're gonna fight some random guys, I'm gonna get some random key, and I'm gonna open some random doors. It doesn't feel like you're actually pursuing a plan there. There's a name I invented for this, and that's what was it? Invisible causality. Like, we're not acting as if we're trying to find a girl. We're just trying things and seeing what the game allows us to do, and which is get the item to open this door. That's not what would happen if we were in this situation in real life. Not expecting amazing, revolutionary stuff from a game like this, but something I would maybe pay more attention to. So there's like a logical step why you would go to the cave, why you would try to find the mirror and so forth. I don't feel like I didn't get any hint that the guy guarding the door would be defeated by the mirror, right? Many girls have disappeared at this place. They must be kept in the caskets at the basement. See, this is good. Looking for the mirror? Do you want me to help? Yes. So this is Julius in disguise, which is so good. So he's called Man in this game because we don't get a name from him. And yeah, he's great. Usually in a speedrun we don't get him, although in the newest speedruns routes we do get him. Mainly because that discussion that you have to go through is a bit long, and you don't need that. You don't need him. Oh yeah, so here's something that they do that is really smart, I think, with the design of the dungeons, which is the dungeons are like these boxy rooms. Like all of the rooms are just like these square rooms, right? And then every now and then there's maybe a little puzzle or something. So their dungeons are very repetitive, but every now and then they throw in a segment like this, and that's so smart. So just like this is a bit of a overworld kind of type of room, right? Like it's something that looks like as if it was in the overworld or using different sprite sheet. Also not following this boxy room pattern, and that makes the dungeons feel less repetitive and more embedded in like more evocative. Like I have a better idea of what this place is. It feels very natural, very embedded into the landscape. And we're gonna see that in the cat's dungeon as well. So here's like the second. So the first gating mechanic that they had was like the mattock, right? So there's just like a small area accessible to us. Like it looked like you can go everywhere, but we can't, because we have to go through this cave to access the rest of the world. And that cave has the boulders, so we have to get the mattocks in order to remove the boulders, so we can get through that cave, and that makes the rest of the world accessible to you. So that kind of ensures that you always talk to Bogart before you venture out into the wider world. So that's nice. And the mattock also, and that's really good, the mattock is not just something that you use at this spot. It's a general broad mechanic that is used everywhere in the game. It's just used there for the first time. So it's kind of like a tutorial, but not really a tutorial. It's more of a... It's not a key and lock kind of situation. It's kind of like it's just the first of many doors that you open using this kind of key. And then they do something that's very smart here, which is like they give you a new weapon. So now we have like the third weapon, which is the sickle here, which is also a very different vibe from the previous weapons. And the sickle weapon can remove the plant tiles, and that's kind of like the second gating mechanic they introduced here. And it's really smart because this time it's not an item that you get like with a mattock, but this time it's actually embedded into the weapon that you have. And that's really smart because for many reasons. I mean, first of all, it's just like, you just learn that there's like you get all sorts of abilities from very different sources, and those abilities will allow you to modify the worlds and make your path through this world. But also, it's smart because every time you have to go through the menu, that's a lot of clicking to equip the Mattock, for example. That's like very tedious. And so having this an ability attached to the actual weapon is nice because you don't just attack, but you can also interact with the world. So just like one button does two things at the same time, basically. And yeah, as we said, the different weapons also have very different feel to each other. So we had like the sword and the axe were similar, but the axe was kind of like felt slower and felt less flexible than the sword, but it felt more. The sprite is so big, it feels more powerful. Man, that was just so annoying. The sickle here has like very wide, just spins around. And it's funny enough, it always spins around the same way, I think. No, it's not. It starts in the direction that you're facing. That's good. But yeah, it always goes in a circle around you. I thought I heard somebody say it's always the same spin, but no, it starts in the direction you're looking at. It's also such an unusual weapon, I think. Okay, so that's something that we never do in the speedrun, but we can do it now. Oh, there was a bit of a glitch there. Did you see that? Yeah, there we go. We get the iron shield. Oh, by the way, really nice that these bubble enemies, they cannot be killed with your weapons, but the man character can shoot them down with his fireballs. We do need the Mattock eventually. Oh, we do have a Mattock already. Oh, that's good. Never mind, we get another Mattock. It's like the charge up sword attack from Zelda, minus the need to wait for it to charge. Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, I guess you're right. But I mean, this game has this charge attack. I don't like the charge attack in this game too much, to be honest. I think something that really bugs me is that at the beginning of the game, the charge attack plays very, very small role because it just takes so long for this bar to charge up. I really like that in a Zelda you can just hold the button and something else happens. That's really nice. Not the case here. And it's also like they really double down on this in Secret of Mana, where you kind of get punished for spamming an attack button, and I don't feel that's good. You're like really encouraged to like do one attack. Hey, Nick, how are you doing? I did get a PB way like my 12th run or so, a 13th run. Today I did well. I didn't get a PB, but I had like a 47 time. That was okay. I'm playing just casually. All right, let's save. One Piece. Oh man, how far in you? How many episodes of One Piece are there, and how far in are you already? This is an amazing boss, by the way. And again, we have to. If you recall the first boss that we had, the Jackal boss, right? It's the same pattern. Like it's just like the boss goes between multiple stops and just like in and out, and then just does some shooting, and that's it. And then this time we get some shooting, right? But it's basically a very similar pattern to the Jackal. And also amazing sprite. It's really cool as you fight the Hydra and you cannot actually go to the Hydra, so you have to wait for the Hydra to come out. It's really cool. Jesus, 1,000 episodes. Holy crap. Okay, it's nice that that we're getting more of a manual now. Oh! Wow, so you almost finished. So did you learn something from what are your lessons from One Piece? Wow. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a bit reminiscent of the Hydra fight in Dark Souls. That's true. That has the same problem, right? World governments are a bad idea. Well, ain't that the truth? Right. So we're showing now the mirror, and again, it would have been a bit nicer if we had more of a. If maybe the concept that there's a mirror somewhere in a cave that was introduced before we get here, that would have been nicer, I think. Son, bye! For the man, it's so funny. Yeah. It's also weird that he's not joining us, right? Because he's there to kidnap the girl. As Julius, he's there to kidnap the girl. So why does he not continue going with us, right? Because we're about to rescue the girl, so he could be there and snatch her out of that coffin, right? But yeah, I guess the problem is that the game only has the mechanics to have one companion. So we cannot have two companions with us. So that's why he cannot join us. We cannot have Julius and the girl with us. By the way, that's something that I appreciate. I have to say, that's something I really appreciate about Secret of Mana. Oh my gosh. The fact that there's 3 companions. And then later on in Secret of Mana 2, like in Seiken Densetsu 3, you even have like a party basically. There's multiple characters and you can pick 3 from a bigger roster. So there's like replayability also as well. That's so nice. And also the characters that you have in Secret of Mana are a lot more fleshed out. Each one of them has like an arc and everything. This is obviously just like very rudimentary. And you can equip them and so forth. Like it feels like, again, it feels like this is kind of like a prototype for what Secret of Mana will become later on in this regard. But it's kind of fun to see, like, this will become such a strength of the series, right? Such a core pillar of the series, like this companion system. Which you don't really have in Zelda. That's kind of like a unique thing that they do. There's an arc in One Piece that is considered pointless, called Long Ring, Long Land, that ran back in 2003. Current thoughts are that it was where the end of One Piece will be. Luffy's basically ascended, they're fighting basically gods now. So it will be interesting to see what foreshadowing from the past 25 years we missed. Oh, so One Piece is not finished yet? I thought it was already finished. Oh my gosh. So you're now on the cutting edge of One Piece? You're 25 episodes away from the cutting edge of One Piece. 75. Oh, gee. Holy crap. What a magnum opus to do this kind of long-standing series. Always go over the spikes. That's what I learned. Okay, but after you go over the spikes, maybe you're safe. I'm hoping for a level up there. That would be nice. Like in speedrunning, that's the strategy. You get a level up here, and so you don't have to heal. Like if you can time it correctly, that's really nice. But yeah. Okay, so it's kind of amazing that in this, like in a weird, this is like the third, like maybe the second or third dungeon, depending on how you count, and you get already like the 4th weapon. And this weapon, again, has the very different abilities. Now this one can pull you along these things. It's amazing. Also, this dungeon, I haven't talked about it, but this dungeon is also kind of like... This is a crazy dungeon. Like, this is hardcore stuff. Like I'm very familiar with the dungeon because I've speedrunning this, but okay, we're going around now. Actually, no, I'm gonna heal. But there's like you have to like knock down a wall in order to like there's so many secrets in here along the critical path that you have to take in order to get the to rescue the girl. It's kind of amazing. And yeah, here's another one of those segments that they throw in between there to make the levels a little bit less repetitive. I really like that one. It's kind of amazing how cohesive and detailed it puts Tolkien to shame. Oh yeah, One Piece token. Things that you talk about in the same breath. So, by the way, here I always knock down that wall, but I don't have to knock down that wall, I think. Oh, now see, now I overburn it. Let's eat a candy. I can also go here. See? But I think I'm not sure what happens if I go down here, if I land somewhere else in the dungeon or not. Let me save. Let me see if I just lose health points or land somewhere else in the dungeon. Oh, I totally land downstairs. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, and this is like this segment of the dungeon that then you have to climb out. That's so nice. So it's so easy to get lost here. Oh yeah, and then we're here. Okay, cool. That's so nice. But yeah, in the end, you just get here anyway, so you can just as well knock down that wall. And it's kind of nice that they tell you that you can knock down that wall. What is here? I never go here. Is there nothing? Oh, you can also get away. You can. Oh, I guess we don't have the mattock. I'll give you some opportunities. That's nice. Yeah, there's I don't like the unlimited inventory space, but I guess that's this time around is really a testament to the hardware limitations. Yes, the fact that you have to smash this pot with a mattock, and that's the critical path, you know? That's so crazy. And there's like no hint that this is what... You just have to randomly smash pots. Like, if you didn't know this, you would be so... Like, you would be in this dungeon for a while. Oh, Sumo, let's get out of here. By the way, the whip has some really cool mechanics where when you whip back and then forward, so there's like a back whip. And I think back whip can also hit enemies. It's kind of reminiscent a little bit of Spelunky. Spelunky does the same thing. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to have the mattock. Yeah, man, Final Fantasy. Super realistic game. You know it. You know it the best. Ooh. I'm hoarding those items. I don't need all those items at this point. All you really need to have is mattocks and keys. Especially when the girl's with you, because she can heal you. Alright, I think we're almost there. We'll defeat Lee and we'll continue some other day. Oh no! I'll ask. By the way, also technical solution that I found really fascinating is that there is an overworld map, and that is like on a huge contiguous map. And then all the dungeons are a second overworld map, basically. And all of the dungeons are next to each other, basically. And like all those repetitive rooms are all next to each other on a huge contiguous map as well, from what I understand. And I think there's like a third map layer, basically. So there's like 3 overworld maps. There's the actual overworld map, then there's the dungeon overworld map where all the floors of all the dungeons are next to each other. And I think there's a third where it's like all the little parts where you go in between are on as well. A common approach to designing this kind of game, yeah, I guess. Zelda speedrunners take advantage of that a lot. Oh, that's cool to hear. I would love to see how it works in Zelda. I need to look it up. And you mean like the original Zelda, the NES Zelda, or the Super Nintendo Zelda? Both. Oh, that's nice. All right. Okay, let's save. Let's go, baby. And yeah, people commented on this, but this is also such a beautiful, beautiful, efficient boss design. He only has 2 frames, one with, and he's symmetrical, so they only have to draw one side. No animation whatsoever, just like opening his code and not opening the code. And the fact that he can also open one side of the code is neat too. And again, the same pattern as with a Jackal at the beginning, where he's just moving between, like this time he was moving between 4 spots. The Jackal was moving between 3 spots on the top of the screen. Now he's moving between 4 spots in like a diamond shape pattern. And then he just moves to a spot, shoots some vampires, moves to a spot, shoots some vampires. Like it's like very, all of the bosses are basically the same. Some parameters are changed, maybe the positions to which they go to are different. But they're very predictable, and that's fine. Like this boss fight took just a couple of seconds, you know, and you can die to this guy. He's difficult. Like the kid me was blown away by this boss. Okay, but you know what? I'm gonna save here, and we're gonna continue this playthrough some other time. That was part 1 of our playthrough. Yeah, we're gonna